Hello everyone, this is Raquel. Rosie Revere, Engineer by Andrea Beatty, illustrated by David Roberts. This is a story of a Rosie Revere who dreamed of becoming a great engineer. In Ella Grill's classroom at Blue River Creek, young Rosie ate shyly, not there to speak. But when no one saw her, she picked in the trash for treasures to add on her engineer stash. And late at night, Rosie rolled up her sleeves and built in her hideaway under her eaves. Alone in her attic, the moon high above, dear Rosie made her gadgets and gizmos she loves. And when she grew sleepy, she hid her missions far under the bed where they have never been seen. When Rosie was young, she had not been so shy. She worked with her hair sweeping over one eye and made fine inventions for uncles and aunts. A hot dog dispenser and helium pants. The uncle she loved most was a zookeeper Fred. She made him a hat to keep snakes off his head, from parts of a fan and some cheddar cheese spray, which everyone knows keeps the pythons away. And when it was finished, young Rosie was proud. But Fred slapped his knees, and he chuckled out loud. He laughed till he wished and his eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of the Rosie Revere, who stood there embarrassed, perplexed, and dismayed. She looked at the cheese head and looked away.
I love it,
Fred hooted.
Oh, truly I do.
But Rosie Revere knew that couldn't be true. She stuck the cheese head on the back of her shelf, and after that day, kept her dreams to herself. And that's how it went until one autumn day. Her oldest relation showed up for a stay. Her great-great-aunt Rose was a true dynamo who would work building airplanes a long time ago. She told Rosie tale of the things she had done and goals she had checked off for her list by one. She gave a sad smile as she looked to the sky. The only thrill left on my list is to fly. But time never lingers as long as it seems. I'll chalk that one up to an old lady's dreams. That night, as Rosie lay wide eyes in bed, a daring idea crept into her head. Could she build the gizmos to help her aunt fly? She looked at a cheese head and said, No, not I. But questions are tricky, and some hold on tight. And this one kept Rosie awake through the night. So she was dawn approached, and red strikes lit the sky. Young Rosie knew just how to make her aunt fly. She worked and she worked till the day was half gone, then hauled her cheese copter out onto the lawn to give her an invention a test just to see how the ridiculous flop it might be turned out to be. Strapped into the cockpit, she flipped onto the switch. The hello cheese copter sputtered and stitched. It floated a moment and whirled around and round, then froze for a heartbeat and crashed to the ground. Then Rosie heard laughter and turned around to see the old woman laughing and slapping her knees. She laughed till she wheezed, her eyes filled with the tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who thought, Oh no, never, not ever again would I try to build something to sputter or spin or build with a lever or a switch or a gear, and never would I be a great engineer. She turned around to leave, but then great-great-aunt Rose grabbed hold of a young Rosie and pulled her in close and hugged her and kissed her and started to cry. You did it! Hooray! It's the perfect first try. The great flop is over. It's time for the next. Young Rosie was baffled, embarrassed, perplexed. I failed, said dear Rosie. It's just made of trash. Did you see it? The cheese copter trash. Yes, said her great aunt. It crashed. That's true. But first, it did just what it needed to do. Before it crashed, Rosie. Before that, it flew. Your brilliant first bluff was a raging success. Come on, let's get busy and on to the next. She handed a notebook to the Rosie Revere, who smiled at her aunt as it all became clear. Life might have its failures, but this was not it. The only true failure can come if you quit. They worked till the sun sneaked away to its bed, and Rose tied her handkerchief around Rosie's head and sent her to sleep with a smile ear to ear to dream the bold dream of the great engineer. At Blue River Creek, all the kids in grade 2 built a gizmo and gadgets and doohickeys too. With each perfect failure, they all stand and cheer, but not quite as proudly as Rosie Revere. The end. Don't forget to work hard, but the most importantly, never to give up. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day.